I'll show you the irrigation in the shed. We haven't got any further with it. I need to order bits basically. I haven't been rushing with the irrigation because I've still been doing research, and cost is another factor, in all honesty. It's going to cost me probably about £500 to kit us out with irrigation. So let's go into the shed. I'm going to have to turn, bear with me a minute, I need to turn the light on because the goats try to get in here all the time. So this is the well shed. We actually have our brooding cages on here, and we did brood some chicks in here. I know it's dark, we don't actually have a light, there's windows here, but in winter I put these panels of insulation in, and we ply lined with thick ply, can't remember what it was, 12 mil, something like that, and insulated this whole well shed because it houses all our gear for our borehole. So we have a salt bin which lives down here. This holds our softening salt. It also has our filter down here. This is a water filter, and it comes right across, goes through a UV light which is here, and then it comes up and around and goes back down into the house. So this used to be the well shed, so it still is well and water shed, but on the floor there used to be where you see that ring, a well, and it came up to about here, plastic well, relatively new, but the problem we had was that the water was really dirty and we didn't have a lot of consumption. Actually, we couldn't. I've got a cap that's fallen off something there, and now I don't know where it goes. Fathom that one out. Let's hope it wasn't important. So the old well was here, dirty water, and in winter we barely had enough consumption in like November, and in summertime it just ran out. So first thing to do when we moved here was get a borehole put in, which was costly. We had to go down to 100 metres, which is deep for boreholes, I believe. In this area, I think average is 50, 70. On a hill like us, you can be 100 metres. But we did have a good water strike, and we've got ample amounts of water. The other reason we couldn't ever live off this well is even if it had been enough for a family of 4, it certainly wasn't going to be enough for our veg garden and our polytunnel. So that was why we decided to go for a borehole for the long term. We have still got the well, and I've got a pump down there, and it does feed a water supply on the outside of the shed, which we use for the goats and things. It's absolutely fine for animals, and it is just rainwater and surface water. But you do have to be careful because of contamination, and that's why we didn't want to drink it. You know, it probably would have been safe on us. We could treat it, we could do chlorine shock and things like that. It just wasn't really in the long term interested. We just wanted a decent water supply. So we've got power in this shed. We've also, I put a tube heater in here, which is just frost prevention really. And the last thing I want to show you before we go is these pipes that you see here are all the pipes, and they go right down there through the floor and into the trenches, and they lead all over the veg garden. So these pipes are our irrigation pipes. We've basically got, how many pipes do we have coming through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that works out, I think, 2 permanent feeds which go to the corner of our veg plot on the far side, just so we've got water on the other side of our veg area, and it also goes to our permanent supply in the polytunnel. Those two will always have water to them, unless it's in winter now and we shut them off from inside the shed. Then you have one zone on the main area, which will do the far half, so the 10 metre beds at the end. We'll put a water supply then on top of these ones here, on the outside of the shed here, which will do these 10 metre beds at this end. So that does the 12 beds in total, 6 at one end on one irrigation supply, and 6 at this end on another irrigation supply. And then there'll be 2 more taps on the outside of the building, additional supplies. Those will do the flower beds and the herb garden. So 2 different zones for those as well. That's all the outside areas done. And then the last 2 pipes, which are currently already in, are for the 2 zones that are in the polytunnel. So let's add this up quickly. We will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zones that can be irrigated from a controller, which we will mount on the wall here. So we will have, I'm looking at the Rainbird system because I quite like Rainbird controllers and equipment. That just goes back from my experience working in the sports industry. That's what I used to like. There are plenty of other brands and systems, some cheaper. So we're looking at a Rainbird controller at the moment, and then there will be a manifold here with our main water supply going in, and then off each section of the manifold you will have an electronically controlled solenoid valve which will open and shut, and that is wired into your controller. And you have zone 1, zone 2, all the way up to zone 6. I'm probably going to buy an 8 zone controller to give me capacity for 2 more zones in the future should I require it. But the 6 zones will be controlled, and you basically set your timing. We may even go with a rain sensor on the roof here. I think I'm probably going to. So if it is raining, it will, and it's due to come on, it won't put it on. So we can do a lot of things with our irrigation basically if we set it up right. So the controller will be on the wall here, solenoid manifold here. They will go into all of our zones across there, and then the permanent feeds I will just plumb directly into our main feed, which comes through here. Tap straight off that and put a isolation tap on it, so you could isolate each one of those taps individually if you needed to. So I don't know if I've explained that really bad. I probably should have written notes, but I just wanted to show you the well shed and where everything's going basically. So I'm going to turn the light off, plug the frost prevention tube heater in, and we have light again. So that's the well shed. That's the irrigation. That's what we're going to do in the veg areas. What are we growing? Everything. When are we growing it? Not now, because it's snowed. But I'm going to keep you up to date. I've been terrible on videos. Obviously, we're doing the staging, getting the soil level in these areas, marking the beds. This is our second bout of snow. We had snow New Year's Eve, it started snowing, and we had snow for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. You know, it snowed for like a day and a half or something, and then we just ended up, because we're on a hill here, the snow sat around for ages, and we seem to have had the same sort of scenario now. I mean, I think the depth, yeah, I mean, we got 3 inches. So I love snow. It's amazing. Everything looks so picturesque. The mountains look amazing around me, but when you're trying to grow stuff and you've got animals, actually, it's actually a bit of an inconvenience. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Hopefully a load of that made sense. If not, drop a comment and I'll try and explain it, and I will plan videos a little bit better in the future. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.